start our open mic. Another good reason, tell I was a teacher for 20 years. I wanted you to hear this sound because that's the 1 minute warning for everyone who's signed up for our 5 minute open mic. Did I get everyone who wanted to sign up? I think so. We didn't scare you away? Okay.
Teresa,
Yes,
you
sir.
have plenty of.
You know what? I'm glad you spoke up because I didn't put you down.
Here we go.
He distracted me with the toolbox.
Sure.
So,
It's like, wow. My grandmother had one similar to that, and then I started thinking about my grandmother's sewing machine. I don't know how many of you have seen the old-fashioned one with the foot and pedal, and yeah, like that sitting beside one of those. So, thank you. All right, so starting our open mic is Brian Grosz.
Yay, Brian! I had no idea that this was a semi-Father's Day event.
It's okay.
What's that?
I said it's okay.
Well, it works out, I guess, because I wrote this morning, and my father's also a woodworker. He taught me when I was a kid, there are 2 rules. Keep your tools sharp and don't touch the moving steel. Which I learned, which ran through my head when an angle grinder went across my hand last Sunday. Anyway, one of the 3 bullet points that you proposed was called fabled resistance. He grabbed me by both arms and shook me so hard that I could hear all 8 of my earrings rattle. "Are you gay?" he screamed. "It's okay if you're gay, I'll still love you. But when I was young, only queers did this." I had just bleached my hair for the first time at the age of 15. I didn't tell him the next step was to slather it with fuchsia and lime green slime that would ruin the towels for a month. "Dad," I said, "fucking let go of me. I'm straight, I'm just punk rock." 2-minute tunes with a snarl and a sneer and a safety pin through your ear can placate the raging hormones of a teenager in a cracker-ass suburban Connecticut high school where everyone else's sweet 16 led to the gifting of a sob, and you were considered scum because you resided on the other side of the sign that read railroad crossing. Punk represented freedom, rebellion, a raised middle finger to those who were blind to the silver spoon in their mouth and the injustices of the world. I suppose this question was valid in an uneducated way. I mean, after all, I was in free theater groups, and I used to buy sundresses at the Salvation Army, and occasionally wear them to school or on stage with my noise rock band. A dress is a freeing thing, and I would don them with pride, with the hopes that someone would try to kick my ass. And they did, half the time. I've mellowed a bit. My aging carcass no longer functions well in the fury of a circle pit or a stage dive, but when I hear Dee Dee Ramone shout, "Why 10 days up?" I know that it's time to shout, "Hey ho, let's go." Still miss my mohawk, but I still have the records, the filth, and the fury. I taught a friend's son how to work a turntable last weekend. He had just discovered punk rock, which his father knows nothing about, and I had agreed to let him dig through my stacks. He got bored with my esoteric knowledge of the liner notes when I voiced them, but he giggled uncontrollably when he learned there was a band called Circle Jerks. Raise your middle fingers high. Make change. Always resist.
Stephanie Johnson.
This is a poem that I myself wrote a week ago. It's called "I Did My Best." When I was born, I did my best. Life so new, so much living to do. I remember Miss Little and Miss Tatum too. I remember being called Dago, because I was different. I didn't belong. Especially when I lived in Alamo, not in Chicago. I did my best. I never gave up. They laughed when I stammered and stuttered. I felt like giving up. Perhaps that's why I like to dress up. Between reality and make-believe, I always believed my dreams would come true. I kept searching for the road less traveled and was taught right from wrong. I remember my dad. He was an alcoholic. Little Doogie, they said, you'll be just like he. No, I won't. You just wait and see. I'll never give up. I'll be me, you see. I will amount to something despite what Miss Thommmm said to me. When I broke my wrist, I wrote with my right. Now what's right is best. I never gave up. I did my best. I remember that cold, wet day. I ran all the way from the top of the hill to the place where he died, and so did I. The journey began deep inside. Do whatever it takes for my own good sake. Do what's right. I've done my best. I'll never give up. For 25 years, freedom defended. At home and abroad. Service above self. Just to see that high-flying flag. I did my best. I never gave up. I remember that day I dropped to my knee. My life as I knew came crashing down. In the heat of the day, my will was tested. My hands went up. I thought I'd drown. Life is so queer with its twists and turns. Mine were certainly turned upside down. The little girl sat on my knee, said, I'm getting a new daddy, but you will always be. To my children, I never gave up. My love for you eternal. I followed my heart. I've done what's right. Never will I ask, what if I had? I stayed true to myself. I fought for what's right. I kept it real, told no lies. Copy do not file, it's just not right. For 15 years, I stood my ground. With each motion filed, I never backed down. I gave my best, I never gave up. Through it all, I fought alone. Oh, they tried to break me and force me to give up. To Reed, Garrett, and Greg, three things you will never hide: the sun, the moon, and the truth. I did my best. I'm glad I did. So now my journey begins. On the road less traveled, the woman's side, to live life with you. I stay true to myself. I always have.
Allyson, Whipple.
So I've been writing a lot about the stuff that's in my backyard, and this one is called Urban Homestead. The mockingbird on the telephone pole learns to imitate a car alarm. We can keep bees, but they will never submit to domestication. Every season we'll lose at least a few. They don't need us, or the boxes we build as hives, or the smoke we use to dull their senses, convince them to give up honey. The mockingbird in the backyard learns to imitate crickets. Over winter, ants colonize my garden beds, topple all the mint. To boil them out requires more water than I have pots, so I resort to the slow torture of dehydration via cornmeal. The mockingbird in the pecan tree learns to imitate squirrels. In my clumsiness, I mistake young perennials for weeds, chop them up under the blade of my hoe. The mockingbird on the sidewalk learns to imitate wolf whistles. Some would call the house spider tucked in the corner of my pantry a pest, or say I'm lazy for not disposing of it. The spider and I have an agreement. We leave each other alone. The mockingbird at the window learns to imitate a ringtone. My gardening books grow up, thick pillars of pages, unread despite my best intentions, my New Year's resolutions. The mockingbird on the fence learns to imitate a cat. I read a million sentences telling me to save money by growing my own food. I learned instead the cost of dead soil. $200 on fertility treatments, and a gallon of shame for those who think using chemicals is cheating. The mockingbird on the next block learns to imitate a rape whistle. We map out the garden, neglect to revise when we change course. We write in English and in Latin, but immediately forget the scientific names. The next day, the wind uproots all the labels we stuck in the dirt. The mockingbird on the front hedge learns to imitate a doorbell.
Oh, man.
Jeffery, Hollie.
Thank you. This poem is about, we really went through a hectic situation, but it's resolved by the end of this poem. The name of it is, With Sling TV I Have Cut the Cord. As I looked at Cleveland, Ohio's downtown, that's a live view, I did say. Those words on my tongue themselves found. When seeing an aerial view, as I watched the NBA, that game was the Cavaliers, who went up 3-1, who I pulled for against the Celtics of Boston. My live view words was because I am now enthused that I'm watching live TV on Sling by me now used. Since from cable to this streaming service I changed, I was glad to be watching an NBA game. And the reason I cut the cord, here is why. They kept raising my bill till it was too high. When to buy just ESPN, ID, and NBA TV, I tried. My request by my former cable service was denied. Then he showed me channels with just one of my above, and said if I bought them, I'd get NBA TV, I asked of. But I did not want to do that, one station to get. And that deal, in there, I refused it. And this thought later became an attitude. I'll watch old clips of NBA TV on YouTube. And I do that with ID or investigation discovery. And Sling TV feels an arrest, and I'm loving it. And A&E has on it resolved crime type of shows on Sling. And I've saved funds went to them, my service I did bring. But I quit my first try of Sling TV because of too much buffering I did see. But cable would not let me a few channels buy, and that I must buy the whole packet was why. But now that I'm back with Sling TV, I read that I can ask patients for a small fee. On an affordable special deal with cable I began, and it was $39 for TV and internet back then. But inching up, the price just went on and on, till I said enough is enough, and I was gone. A little over $100 for TV and internet I later paid. Before cutting the cord online, I read, when I quit internet, when my apartment got Wi-Fi, my bill reaching $74 for just TV was too high. And once when I went to them, my service to stop, they kept me by free Bosch use that took $10 off. And reluctantly continuing with them, I did agree. But when my bill rose again, I went to Sling TV. And they had a 3-thing special for just $89. And just my TV was almost that to folk out hollering. Therefore, I am so glad I left them, you see, and made the switch as others to Sling TV. Though ID or investigation discovery is on Sling, sometime as it, justice, my HD antenna to me bring. Let me see. Though ID is not on Sling, something as it, justice, my HD antenna to me bring. For these TV stations beyond regular ones is part of cutting the cord that is in this poem. With my cable service, I just watched a few things. ESPN, ID, and so forth, and many channels was not seen. And for less funds, I am watching shows on Sling TV, and more channels I get with an antenna that's HD. And buying low-cost DVDs was in my plans too, as cutting the cord successfully I did pursue. Also on Sling, the non-sports channels I will look at, and to high-priced cable I am not going back. The periodic buffering with Sling I'll live with, but even so, more enjoyment I still get. And it could be weak Wi-Fi and so forth while it occurs, and I know Sling TV will better it for customers. On TNT, I am watching the NBA playoffs in June. For at last, from high-cost cable, I am free. Nicely for my past cable service, this word I gave, to stop sending me mail since funds with Sling I saved. I'm gonna jump down to the last stanza to skip some stuff. Now I can better be more economical with Sling TV, and for May 2017, 2164 they took out, I did see. That was their 20 a month with a little tax. And since this is sales cable, I gladly say it. I like that. Now, in my apartment's TV room, that is cable TV. But if someone is watching it, sports I may not see. But with Sling TV, I can see sports on TNT or ESPN. And even in there, sports, even if in there, sports they are not watching. Yes, now that I am with Sling TV, I am overjoyed. And also with Sling TV, I have cut the cord.
Sling TV.
Oh, I don't know, but I ain't emailed it to them yet. I'm gonna do that today. I know they're gonna like it. I'm gonna cause I'm promoting them.
Right. All right. Hope Ruiz.
So it's called Boots. I've got my boots.
Always.
My heart once fluttered to hear your boots rasp against the concrete. There was something so solid and satisfying about that sound. I remember one time driving behind your motorcycle, watching the way your boots tapped the ground at the red light. Such a gentle touch for someone who has lived so hard. I felt my pulse leap to see you from that angle, rounded yet simultaneously lifting smoky off the street, stretching tall into the purple hush of the sky. I've been carrying you around with me for a while now, hearing your boots tap next to mine when I walk. A hint of your elfish smile pressed into my mind and your Aztec face in flame when I close my eyes. I could still feel your hand on the curve of my back as I suck in a quick gasp of air. Hear your raspy voice in my ear when I drift off to sleep. Imagine your lanky body towering above me when we kiss, pulling me like taffy up on my tiptoes. I could hear your words on soft repeat, calling me your beloved, creating tender space for me as you lovingly open the door. But that's been gone for a while now, and I've been surviving on the fumes of their memory. Like a tank I take with me underwater, reaching dangerously low levels with red flashing lights. I've been ready to refill, but when I look up, you just shake your head. So it's time to leave this empty husk, like the shells we gathered on the beach when I loved you and you didn't love me back. I'm ready to brave those unprotected waters, walk out past the sandbar, leap into the unknown without the echo of your boots to comfort me. Because I've still got mine. The leather is soft and worn in all the right places, saturated with memories of horseback riding in East Texas skies that soak into my skin when I wear them. The reassuring rhythm of my feet anchors me to the earth, calmly reminding me I won't fly off the edge because gravity still got me, even if you don't.
Larry Mayfield.
Because grandfathers are fathers too.
Yes.
Her grandfather was one of the few who had retained the ability and knowledge of the whistle speech, an almost extinct tradition. He led her to the water, and they watched two deer drinking from across the stream. It was the sign he had been watching for. He tilted his head forward to the spirits in the sky, cupped his hands, and made the hollow whistling sounds she longed to hear, recognizing her as a woman. And he simultaneously passed to her the culture of the whistle speech courtship call. This is a song I wrote from the words she told me. Nimisua Anakina. Grandfather, oh grandfather, where does the river flow? Where does it come from? A little girl asks, to the sky points his staff, and he says in his native tongue, Nimisua Anakina Depo and Nepe river of water. Nimisua Anakina. Her eyes and ears, they saw and heard, and through the years of his wisdom, these were his words. River run far, river run deep, through these hills and valleys to see, and outline the land, much like these age lines wither a man, and see, I have been this way before. Grandfather, oh grandfather, where do I come from? Where will I go? With staff in hand writes these words in the land that will not wash away with the river's flow. Nimisua, Onakenai, O Kate Ma'a, O Date Ma'a, mother and father, Nimisua, Onakenai. Her eyes and ears, they saw and heard, and through the years of his wisdom, these were his words. Where I have become the land, the sifting hourglass of sand, through these waters flow this earth of mother, of father, and of birth. In time, I will come this way again. Grandfather, oh grandfather, an eager face awaits a reply. He whistles like a bird to the spirits in the sky. Nimisua Anakenai. O Kate Ma'a, O De Ma'a, Inido Depo'i, Nimisa, Anakenai.
The world poets.
How did that happen so quick? Visual world, true story. I happen to love abandonment and personified in the houses. When I come across a place that's broken, I go inside to say hello to the snakes and to all the stories of broken glass. And the other day, I was in Del Valley and I came across an abandoned place that had a piano and toys and stories I have in my car out there, but the ones I could share with you, they're yours to keep. An astonishing thing had happened. I found these photographs, and all the photographs were of places I had been. And I wondered, how could this be? I've been 3 times to Uluru, and the 3rd time it had not rained for 10 years. And at that moment, grey clouds came over. It started off red, it turned orange, it turned grey, and then turned black. 13 waterfalls came off the face of the mother of the earth, 10% above the earth and 9% below. I lost everything. I was so wet and so happy. I danced, and that was the first picture I could see in the darkness. So that was then. Water, it was an island, and I used to go down to Sandringham Beach whenever the city became too toxic. I would walk into the sea, not like Virginia Woolf, but more like up to the neck until the wave of the motion of the moon and the tides would reassure me and I could stay alive. The barrier reef, which is now a story because it's been destroyed very well by the new mines, the coal mines, when they take the Wonder Wonderland back into the past history of the industrial. But swimming there with the sea snakes and the turtles and the dolphins was like Monkey Mire. Monkey Mire is where the female dolphins come in West Australia, but the male dolphins don't. Females come in, and they had to have ranges there because tourists used to put cigarettes in their blowholes. So this reminded me how the wild absolutely needs us to value it, because things like dolphins will be gone as quick as photographs. 3 sisters outside that Sin City, Sydney. There are the 3 sisters in the Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains were the barrier to the outback, and the sheep herders wanted very much to get grazing beyond the mountains. So it took Lawson, Blackstone, and Wentworth to crack the Blue Mountains. And in the Blue Mountains there's artistic sanctuaries where sculptors and painters, it's sort of like a little Disneyland for the future. But three sisters were the personification of the art of nature there. And of course, when it comes to the core of it all, the animals, the flora and fauna, particularly the fauna, the kangaroo is the greatest roadkill that you could ever see. You've got the armadillo and you've got the deer, but the kangaroo, when they ask, what is the strange creature? And the tribe on Bennelong Point said kangaroo, which means in the indigenous intellect, I don't know. And people have carried that joke for another 200 years. But that on the Australian coinage you have the kangaroo and the emu. And the kangaroo is now farmed, and people eat it as a delicate flesh. And I could never eat either kangaroo or rabbit, but a lot of people do. And they also eat the crocodile. Crocodiles are farmed. But what I'm saying is, freedom for me is more than visual. It's being close to something that's harmonic, natural, sacred, like sacred springs and sacred wells, like Glastonbury, like Uluru, like Kuranda Rainforest, like what you have here, Enchanted Rock. You have small waterfalls, you have little beaches. But the power of what is before us will be what survives long after us. I want to reimagine that freedom.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out once again to the Austin Writers Roulette.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Next time we're going to be here is also on the second Sunday from 4 to 6, and our theme is Sound and Flight on July 9th. And before you guys leave, Malvern Books always put together a theme table. If you didn't get to look at it during the intermission, please look at it now. The bookstore is open another 30 minutes, so you have 30 more minutes to browse, chat, whatever, and possibly think of something to submit for Sound and Light, or Sound and Flight. And my email address is on the back, or on the front actually. I'm looking at it. If you would like to be a feature, please email me your submission, and you too can be a roulette on the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.